Really close to ignore it though, so we'll
Yeah.
ignore it.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the Holistic Kids Show. My name is Zane.
My name's
And
Abdullah.
my name is Imad.
We're the Holistic Kids here to educate us kids from the inside out.
Teens today are really struggling with their physical and mental health. I mean, the rise in suicidal teens just running away from home, getting arrested, using drugs and alcohol, and other destructive behaviors are really on a rise, which is really scary, right, Imad?
Yeah.
So, but with over 100 episodes, we as teens and kids now know there's so much that we can do to optimize our brain and body's health.
That is really scary. Yes, simple, easy thing everyone can do every day.
And yes, teens can do it too. So actually, today we have our very first only kid like podcast episode showing all of you that if us kids can do it, then anyone can. So River and Terran Greenfield are two 14-year-olds, twin sons of New York Times best-selling author Ben Greenfield, and also the co-hosts of the podcast of Your Palate, GoGreenfields. As early as the age of 3, they were showcased on interest in cooking with their father's knowledge of biohacking and nutrition, combined with their mother's talents in the kitchens, and the twins began exploring healthier versions of childhood favorites. So on Go Greenfield, River and Taryn here explore foods and health from all angles as they interview chefs, review restaurants, and also forage for local food sources. And they also prepare delicious recipes and explore different cultures all over the world. And so now they have the one thing that they're moving towards, and we cannot wait to talk to them today about what they've learned from their dad and how they implement a healthy lifestyle into their daily routine. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you guys
Thank
for having
you.
us.
That was an awesome intro.
Yeah, good job.
So you guys are just two kids doing so much, and we would love to know your story. Like, how did you start going on a podcast and start making these cooking videos and health videos?
Oh boy.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, you start.
Okay. We always go to restaurants as a family.
Wait, pause real quick. This is Terran, and
Oh.
and I'm River.
We
We're twins. So
probably get that
Yeah.
straight before we start.
he's in the yellow shirt.
But yeah, so we always go to restaurants as a family, and we have this one place in Spokane called Kendall Yards. It's like this whole strip of shops and restaurants. It's amazing.
By the river.
Yeah, a lot of it's changed now, but there's this little pizza place that's been there the entire time that we've ever gone. And that was the first podcast we ever did. And I think the entire podcast started when we went there, and our dad was like, hey, you guys should make a podcast. We were young at the time, so we didn't really know anything how to do. We didn't know how to, get the microphone ready, do the editing, any of that. But the first podcast, we went back there with a little microphone on our iTouch.
We connected to a phone. Yeah, it's like a.
And we recorded our first podcast. So
yeah, so I think our first one was a restaurant review, and then we were doing a lot of restaurant reviews. And since then, we've gone into more like foraging and food creation, more contests, and then interviews and such. And yeah, I think that's really it all started was from a pizza place.
I mean, that's really amazing how you guys grew from such a young age. Like Imad here, how old are you?
7.
Yeah, he's 7. And then
No, I'm 9.
here, that's the other one. So he's 9, and he just started doing this, and now we have my fourth brother also starting to get into health and doing the podcast. He sometimes comes on once in a while. But that's why it's amazing to start from young ages, because then you learn so much as you grow on. Like, we started eating no artificial foods, non-GMO foods since like 2014. I was only in first grade at the time. And because I started at a young age, I was able to implement that kind of lifestyle into as I grew older. And that's kind of one of the main reasons why I support it. And I really love staying off of artificial foods. So we have talked to so many experts on the show, but they usually aren't kids. They're usually experts in many fields, and they're usually adults. So what did you learn from all of these amazing experts that you have also interviewed? Right, you've also interviewed some people.
Yeah,
we have. Oh goodness gracious, there's so many. I mean,
Yeah,
as our dad is as a podcaster and a book person, we have people come to our house. Not just like we're not interviewing them, but they're at our house just staying there so our dad can do like in-person podcasts and such. So we not only learn a lot from our interviews, but also from other people who are from our dad. So I think yeah, really at a young age we we were given the ability to just know a lot about our body, whereas it almost became like a normal, right? It's like
Yeah.
if you, I mean, you did it since, or you've done it since first
Yeah.
grade. It's not really any different now. It's not even hard because you're like, it's the normal thing.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why like people say, "Oh, don't you feel bad? Don't you feel like left out?" And I'm like, "No, well, I've been doing it for such a long time." I mean, he was born into it. He had no choice.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know any different.
Yeah. Starting
Yeah,
young,
he
you
never
retain a lot
had
of
a
it.
single Dorito in his life.
Oh, okay. Well, you beat me. I've had one
before.
I'm unclean.
Yeah. So when people come over, there's obviously so much to learn from everybody, and we're really blessed to have all these experts come over to our house. We've learned so much from them. We did this one person in olive oil, Hunter.
We did that same
Oh,
person. We did the
we've
same
also
person.
done.
Oh, he's awesome.
He's amazing.
He
It's
started
so
a
good.
vinegar, a balsamic vinegar club, and those are mwah.
He does
Chef's
vinegar now
kiss.
too. But it's so interesting how much I think oil is like one of the main factors in a lot of unhealthy foods, like vegetable oil. It's not the best. I'll say that.
Sunflower oil, yeah.
But when you-
Yes. Well, they're in your body for 90 days, and if you don't have a good oil, I mean, it's just coursing through your body because you can have sugar, you can have a whole bag of candy, but you work that off, it turns into fat or
Yeah.
energy, and you work that off, but oil stays in your body. And so if it's bad oil, it doesn't go away for like 3 months worth, which is definitely something that I find more troubling than sugar to say.
It's kind of why we're drawn to food because, like, food's the fuel for your body. It's what your body gets made of. It's kind of it makes you run.
Yep.
So when you're inputting good fuel, you get good results, and bad fuel, you get bad results. So that's kind of why we enjoy all of the good cooking.
Yeah, I mean,
and
like you're
foraging
saying,
and all that.
oils, especially, like vegetable oils and canola oil is one of the biggest oils that are really bad for your health, and they can really affect your mood. They
Yeah.
can really affect your microbiome.
Yeah, it affects pretty much everything. Well, not
Yeah.
everything.
I mean, it basically affects your immune system and your gut negatively. That's why
Mhm.
we love to have a different alternatives, right? Like,
Yeah.
well, just olive oil.
Olive oil.
Yeah. Olive oil, coconut oil, ghee. You can be like,
all of those are a lot
Yeah.
better for your health.
yeah.
I mean,
Definitely.
so we love food also. So what is your actually favorite foods to cook in the kitchen? I mean, there's probably so much different foods, right?
Yeah.
Are we talking cooking or baking? Because they're different.
Any.
Okay.
We'll do both.
Okay.
Start with cooking. I would say for a while I had a good run with risotto, which is like a
Yeah,
rice
that's
dish
really good.
and onions, and it has alcohol, but the alcohol is cooked off with the heat, so it's not alcohol, but it still has the taste of alcohol. Because I mean, wine tastes good, but kids aren't generally supposed to have it. Anywho, but so that was a favorite. But I think overall right now, a favorite, that's tough. I mean, I really like, I know this may sound like kind of simple, but beet salad, just like boiled beet with like goat
That is
cheese
really good.
and
Goat
arugula
cheese, yeah.
and like
Mhm.
cut oranges and some pumpkin seeds or
always
sunflower
good.
seeds sprouted.
Yeah, salads are always fun. Those are
Good.
really fun.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm more of a. Oh, sorry.
No, you can go. Keep going.
Personally, I'm sort of like a baking person, so I like doing complicated things where you mess up one step, it all goes wrong. So I like
Yes.
I like anything with custard. So we recently did like a panna cotta, which is like a milk gelatin dish, where you basically turn the milk into a jelly almost, and it's it's really good. But we took some herbs called shisho, we made a jelly out of it.
Shisha is like a Japanese herb. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a
mint,
spicy
fennel.
mint almost.
It's really good. But I think that I like custards a lot. I would say custard is my favorite thing to make.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, especially for us, we also love like vegetables because they're so good once you actually, if you cook it the right way or you eat it the right way.
Definitely.
But
Like-
really, really, really steamed.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
but I like the steam.
sure, it
You
gets
know?
more-
Oh yeah, like steamed carrots, steamed broccoli. It's good.
Okay, but what's like your
I like
favorite
fresh.
vegetable?
For me, it's carrots. They love seaweed. I don't know. Seaweed, I didn't even know was an option until like they found it out.
Seaweed's good with other things.
Okay, I just heard of these vegetables called like sea grapes, where they like expand in water, and they're kind of like caviar, but they're made of vegetable. I don't know.
That's
I've never
interesting.
seen them. I just heard of them today.
Yeah, no, because seaweed, because of the iodine it has, it's also really beneficial for your
Yeah.
immune system in your gut, which is why you get that vegetables, you get the vegetable benefits from it, but then you also get the added iodine that comes from the seafood or the seaweed in particular that you wouldn't get from like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, or carrots.
It's really interesting when
Those have their own benefits though.
when you look at like the benefits of food, you find that the foods that look like what it actually benefits usually is. I'll give you an example. Like a carrot, if you cut it length or sideways, it looks like an eyeball almost, with like the circle in the middle. And carrots are good for your eyes. And then there's also like pomegranates. When you cut them sideways, it's like a bunch of veins. Looks like a heart. Pomegranates are good for your heart. Walnuts, they look like a brain. They're good for your brain. It's really interesting how all that works together.
You were talking about like pomegranates. A lot of actually foods that are red, or vegetables and fruits that are red, are actually good for your heart, and they're good for
the purple and blue is good for your brain.
Yeah, that's why all of these colors have so many benefits, and that's why it's so amazing that every single fruit has its own benefit. Like like we love sauerkraut. Another thing.
Sauerkraut, that's a good one.
Fermented food's also really good because sauerkraut is just amazing for your microbiome and amazing for your immune system.
Any fermented foods have like all the little probiotics, all the little bacteria in them that help not only break down food but are also go through your microbiome.
Beneficial.
Yeah. So, I mean, us kids, we're bombarded with other kids eating so much junk all around us. So how do you guys navigate through peer pressure from other kids to eat junk and fake food?
Well,
we get it easy. We're homeschooled.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of peer pressure.
I only fear pressure.
But when you go out to like maybe, there's a party or something, or you go out and you just see people eating like, what do you call it? Like artificial foods and basically foods that will be really bad for them.
Yeah, so obviously vegetables are a good thing as long as they're organic. Because if they're sprayed, you're basically just eating weed killer along with your vegetables.
It's actually
not weed killer, but pesticides. Glyphosate. Sorry. But yeah, I would say if we were to go to a restaurant, fried foods are usually typically something that we stay away from, just because you're basically deep frying a vegetable or meat in canola oil typically, because that's just cheapest for restaurants, which makes sense money wise. Yeah. So I would say, what were you gonna say?
So I think it's kind of similar to how we were talking about how different foods will have different effects, and certain like let's say you have a piece of cake and French fries in front of you. Obviously, both aren't the best for you, but if you had to choose one, you choose the cake because you can burn it off and it's sugar. So from that, you learn, you have to kind of figure out where things are sourced from, because that's also a very important aspect. Like if you're in the mainland and you ask for fish, it's probably not going to be the best fish because it's in the mainland. So I'd say sourcing is a really big part of that, which is you can always ask your server. They'll usually know. And then getting the things that usually don't have too much oil or don't need too much oil in them. And stay away when you're trying to be really careful. Stay away from things like pork and chicken, because those are animals that when they do eat bad things, they keep them in their fat cells and keep all the diseases and stuff. And they're not as healthy as like beef or goats or any of those types of things.
Unless you get them like grass-fed, grass-finished, that sort of thing. Like I think two of the best, I guess for fish, the best fish producer that we know is what's it called? Seatopia, because you get the fish like the day after it's caught. The best meat is probably U.S. Wellness Meats. Is it Butcher Box that's still? Yeah, Butcher Box is also a really good one because they're both grass-fed and grass-finished.
There's lots of different companies out there that have good meats. But
people are like, oh, well, I can't find any organic food. I can't find any good food. Well, you haven't actually looked for that food, which is...
these days you can get it shipped to you. So if you look online, it's pretty crazy.
And we also do a lot of hunting. So a lot of our meat we do get just from going outside and hitting it with an arrow and butchering it up. So a lot of our meat actually comes from our land. So
yeah. And another thing, you're talking about how candy, another thing is that people, when they eat candy, they get that dopamine rush. But the
Yeah.
problem is then their body feels really, really like bad after, right?
Yeah.
You know, like even if we have like some organic candy, it'll still, because of that cane sugar and because because of all of that, because of the high sugar, it'll really make our body feel unnormal and really bad. That's why we love to eat vegetables, because then our body just starts feeling good, right?
Yes. So we would love to hear your daily routine to keep your body healthy.
Just the whole routine, the whole day. Is that correct?
Sure, like for us,
entire
for
day.
example, we'll wake up, we'll say some a few things that we're grateful for, then we'll make our lunches, right? We'll
On
go
school days.
on school days, we'll like make lunches, we'll like choose, like every single lunch will have to have protein, healthy fat, vegetables, and we'll have to throw in a fruit there, so as a carbohydrate. Yeah. That's why, people are like, oh, I need candy for that dopamine rush. But you can get that from fruit. I mean, there's so many benefits from fruit. It's just crazy when
Fruit
you look
contains
into
in
it.
like natural sugars, because cane
Yeah.
sugar is
Yeah,
obviously is
natural.
packaged and such, but
Processed.
processed. But fruits carry natural sugar, so it's definitely better.
It's still sugar.
It's
but
still sugar, but it's better sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it also has that benefits from the fruit itself. That's amazing.
Oh,
What's
hello.
going on in here?
Hey.
You guys
Hello.
staying out of trouble?
For the most
Yes.
part, yeah.
All right. Just making sure there's no
We're
funky
talking
business
about
going on.
daily routines.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
have one of those. You guys have a good conversation.
He's
about
lying.
that. Hey, keep up the good work, you guys. Looks like an amazing interview.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah.
All right, see ya.
See ya.
So and then after we make our lunches, we go to school, we'll have our lunch, then we'll come back. And then after that, we like to go out, play outside a lot when it's nice, especially right now. It's like 70s outside. So we went outside, you guys went outside, we went outside.
Raining.
I think it's raining here.
We love grounding as well, going barefoot, because you get all of those nutrients from the grass, and it just, helps your skin a lot and your body.
Yep.
So like kind of something like that.
Okay. Yeah. So
So what about
say in
you?
the morning-
What is your daily?
Yeah, in the mornings
Wake
we
up.
wake up at 5:15.
Wake up early.
Wake up earlier, just because we like to get our school done early to have the rest of the day
Yeah.
to kind of do more
2-hour head start.
purposeful things. Yeah, 2-hour head start. So we get up in the morning, start off by Bible reading, prayer, just general cleanup of like
Bible stuff first.
washing the face, brushing your teeth, that sort of thing that everyone should do. And then after that, I would say we have, by then it's like,
About, like,
what,
hour and a half.
5:40? So we have
We have like an hour and a half of schoolwork that we can
hour and
do.
a half of school, which is usually consists of like history, like PragerU, something like that.
Yeah.
And then moving on, we have our morning meditation with our family. So that consists of usually it's a verse, like from a chapter or a snippet from the Bible.
Yep. Bible verse.
And then
Devotional.
right now we're doing
Okay.
New Morning Mercies.
Yeah.
New Morning Mercies is like the devotional that we're going through as a family. And then we're reading through a book called The Prayer of the Puritans.
Yeah.
Which is just
It's a book of really great
The
prayers.
Prayer of the Puritans. And
Yeah.
then after that, it's like a little bit more school, but by then it's around 7:30. So we have animals outside. We've got a barn. We have our goats don't eat as healthy as we do.
No.
They're
Well,
fat,
not.
extremely fat.
They're dwarf goats. So
They're
they're a
dwarf
little
goats.
smaller. They look fat.
Yeah.
They're wider laying down, or they're taller laying down. So we feed them, and then we collect eggs. So we have fresh eggs every morning, and sometimes if we have baby goats, we'll milk the mother goat, but
Mhm.
that hasn't happened for a while because we
Not
haven't
in the moment.
gotten them impregnated yet.
No.
But then is breakfast time, and
Yeah.
that's eggs from the
Yeah.
morning.
So in the morning, it's a lot of like routine, a lot of the same things. And then after around breakfast time, it kind of just goes on to what you have for the day. And that's where things start to get unique, kind of it changes every day. We have
Mhm.
all of these different school assignments that we have to do. So that's the part that's a little bit undetermined when it comes to routine. But then I would say at about like 6 to 7 o'clock, things start to swoop back into a daily routine where we either do like a game of tennis or a game of pickleball, some sort of fun game with the whole family. And we come back and prepare the dinner, which is usually like Dad usually does the meat. We usually do the salad or the
Carbohydrates.
carbohydrates, something along those lines. And then we all sit down and we have this giant closet full of board games.
It's like
But
70
yeah,
board
we love
games.
board games as well.
50, 70 board
Some of
games.
the most
Something like that.
intense like Monopoly games ever.
Yeah, we've got
Oh, we have
Monopoly.
we got Monopoly, Catan. We have like yeah, I can't name them all.
Yeah, Exploding Kittens, all of those.
But a bunch of fun card games that we'll play at dinner. Probably like six days out of the week usually.
We just got a new game. It was like The Bible is Funny or something.
Oh yeah, that's really fun.
That's a good one.
That's a fun game. And then like one of the days a week we'll go to a restaurant, something like that. But then before we eat dinner, actually, we do a song, usually a hymn that we sing, kind of just to settle in, and then a prayer. And then after dinner, we'll clean up the kitchen, go to bed, sing another song, say another prayer, and then it's off to bed at about 9:30. So get a good 9 to 5 sleep schedule.
9 to 5.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, another thing is that multiple, there's lots of studies that link addictive relationships with their phones to mental health problems. So that's why it's so, like how you guys were saying in your daily routines, you guys focus on going outside, spending more time with family than most people. They spend more time with their phones than their family. And that's why a lot of in this new generation there's more mental health problems in teens, including like depression, anxiety, and disturbed sleep. And also neuroscience tells us that tweens and teens are actually developing brains that make them especially more vulnerable to both addiction and mental health crises. I mean, everyone, it's very common to see a teen that has a mental health crisis. I mean, it's kind of become more of a new normal where, they have to teach it more in schools. Like if you have depression, if you have any of the anxiety, talk to a counselor, which is why it's so important to limit phone time, limit screen time, go outside more, go eat more vegetables, proteins, get more nutrients. Yep. You spend more time with family, have gratitude so that it's harder for you to it's easier for you to control your mental health and not have those crises. So I mean, we all love what you guys have done to limit the use of devices.
Yeah.
And we also love the meditation and the games and the prayer that you guys have all been doing. I mean, we also love to do meditation, prayer, and also games. So basically the same thing as you.
I think that's pretty important for neurological health, psychological health, that sort of thing.
And I think as a family, we don't limit screen time per se, but we just know the downsides of it and we know what it can cause. And so it's not like we're banning it or outlawing it. We're just not doing it because we know the problems with it.
Yeah.
So I think to stay away from something, you have to actually know what you're staying away from. So I think it's best to really study what you're actually trying to get away from, which you explained quite well.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we've never even been on social media before, and
even me, I didn't manager.
Yeah, because social media is so it really destroys someone's mental health and how they feel about themselves.
Especially teens,
especially teens, and as they grow older, even as people like Zan's age. Zan's in 6th grade, right?
Yeah.
And kids are on social media when they're maybe even Iman's age, right? Are kids on social media?
People in Gossip's class.
Yeah, people that are 9-year-olds, people that are 7-year-olds are now
gossip, but without social media, but without the phone.
Yeah, no. Now what? 7-year-olds, 6-year-olds will have phones, and they'll be able to go on anything they want. They'll go on social media, they'll go on stuff like Snapchat, Facebook, and they'll start looking at what their friends are doing and what their favorite celebrities are doing, and then they see, I wish I could be them, but I'm not like them. I'm worthless, and that really scars your childhood forever until you become adults,
Yeah.
Which is why it's so important to manage and limit social media as much as possible. So we would also love to know what else you guys are working on.
What else are we working
on? Well, do we have a story for you?
No.
So I think the biggest thing right now really started in January of this year when we were supposed to go to Costa Rica for something called.
We weren't supposed to, but we went. We tagged along.
We were tagging along for something called Mastermind Talks. But our dad's passport was filed a little iffy, and so we had to fly back immediately because that's the law in Costa Rica, where if you passport isn't working, then you're not allowed to go into the country and have to leave on the next plane possible. So we had like
But
this.
we got to go to New Jersey.
We got to go to- we had to live in New Jersey, which was not fun. But we had this whole week ahead of us, like a free open week, because we were planning to be suntanning in the beaches of Costa Rica.
or whatever.
Or whatever you do
I don't
there.
know what you do in Costa Rica, actually.
So a new restaurant, speaking of like going to restaurants and such, was called De España, which is a wonderful restaurant.
They have like tapas, which are like little meals.
Spanish appetizers,
Yeah.
like what you have
It's
at
like
dinner.
you have a meal, but they're all appetizers instead of entrees.
And so at that time too, we were reading Sun Tzu's The Art of War, which is a book about like wonderful knowledge and
It's just like little nuggets of wisdom.
Little nuggets of
really.
wisdom,
It's
yeah.
close to that.
and
In
being
its
both
simplest-
teenagers and immature to a certain extent, we were like,
being in Greenfield.
it's the fartivore. It's like you can add an F to it and it becomes the fartivore. And they're like, oh, that's kind of funny. And then we're also talking about card games because that's a big part of our lives. And so we're like, what if we made a card game called the fartivore? And we did, and we are. And I think that really birthed. And on the way home from the restaurant, we were just making up funny fart names like the Dutch oven, which is trapping someone under a blanket and farting, or the old lady fart, or
It's an immature game. I'll
the
tell you that.
underwater. Yeah, it's immature. It's targeted to teenage people. It's a teenage
To youth. No one stopped laughing, is it?
Yeah. And so I started sketching, right? So our dad, he's well versed in the finance area, and so he is on the more commercial and finance side. I'm on the sketching, coming up with ideas side, and Terrence on the coloring / bringing digitizing the cards that we're making for this card game. And so I believe it's 156 cards total.
Yeah.
156 cards total. It's a game where your farts are battling out each other to gain the best, to win, to win the best. being the best
Isn't that
card.
the point of every
It's
game?
the part of every game. That aside, yeah. So you can add on like modifiers to them to make them stronger. Play modifiers on other people to make them weaker. Special actions like all things must pass gas, which is passing everything to the left. And
It's a card.
yeah, it's a card, and it's basically we're trying to really the vision for this gaming company is to get people away from movies during dinner and more interacting with their family during dinner. Because for us, we watch movies maybe once a month,
Yeah, once, twice a
maybe
month.
once, twice a month.
Except on
Usually
airplanes.
documentary. And so yeah, we're really trying to expand our horizons from past cooking and into the gaming industry.
Well,
And
that
we-
is,
Sorry.
This has been amazing.
yeah, I mean, like most kids' dreams would be to start making their own game. Even us, when we were like little, we used to make our own cards and battle with them as well. You know?
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for joining us today. We loved hearing your story and how like you guys are so similar to us, right? Because for us, it's like so hard to find someone. Like I don't think we've ever found someone that are like us in a very similar way, right?
Yeah, like kids that are also have their own podcast and
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
That's like one in millions, billions, you know. So it was amazing to meet you guys today.
Amazing to meet you. This was amazing. This whole
Yeah.
thing was amazing.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
This was awesome. I just said that, but thank you.
So where can people learn more about you and your work?
Oh, well, okay. So right now our actual podcast is on pause. You can still view all the podcasts and such. We have an episode about our favorites coming out soon, but that's at GoGreenfields.com. And then our new gaming company, it's kind of got to, because really the game is called Fartivore, where you can visit at fartivore.com. But eventually we're going to have a website where the name of our gaming company in total is friedpicklesgames.com, but we're not quite there yet. So don't go to that website because it's not done.
It's in pre-development. It's not done yet.
But yeah, I think those are the two spots, or on YouTube, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll definitely be checking that out.
Yes.
Yeah.
When it's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah,
It's still in the
Thank you
works.
so much, Karen and River. Has been such an amazing podcast episode interview.
I mean, you guys were so
Many names.
empowering, and I hope maybe some other teenagers really learn. It's actually possible to start eating healthy and start fixing your diet and start, meditating and having gratitude, and that it's possible for them to start living a much healthier lifestyle. So now let's recap Terran and River's key points.
Oh, for me, I'm saying that.
Oh
No,
no.
we'll say that.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. So, number one, during the teenage years, our bodies are going through so many changes, and it's so important to learn healthy habits that us kids and teens can incorporate in their everyday routine. So, our changing bodies need real food, not fake food. And real foods have so many more benefits than fake foods. Because the fake foods just have negative benefits, and you should really find out where your food is sourced from, and you can always ask your server, like they said. So if you wake up early, you can get all the things that you have to do done first. So it leaves a lot for the rest of the day for the things that you want to do. It's like we also wake up around 5, 6, 7, right?
Yeah.
A lot earlier than when our schools have to when it's school time.
Yes,
We like to
true.
get everything done before before we actually go to school. So incorporating prayer, meditation, and reading from books together are great ways to lower stress and inflammation, and also limit the amount of time on your screens that you get, because even like the Surgeon General has discussed the harms of social media and us kids and teens. So make sure to prioritize sleep so that our brains can actually work and function daily. So, and also find your passion, like Terran and like River, and like how they started. They went from cooking to starting a gaming company, and like how we started a podcast on health, because it's so important for us kids to channel that energy into something that you are really passionate about.
Yeah. If I may just add one more little health thing.
Yeah.
While eating and stuff, obviously you're putting food into your body. Your skin also absorbs many things from outside of your body, and obviously, like teenagers and stuff, they're getting jobs and working in like a fast food restaurant. You're like swimming in canola oil, and that alone, and your skin absorbs that. So it's not only what's going in you, it's also what's around you, which you have to change.
And that applies to shampoo, to facial cleansers, to toothpaste, to anything you put on your body, really.
Yeah.
Deodorant, even basically any substance that you put on your skin will also get incorporated into your bloodstream. So
Yeah. So thank you so much for being here today. This was so much fun.
So much fun.
So much fun.
really fun. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
So thank you everyone for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Zansari.
I'm Abdullah.
And I'm Imad.
Follow my family and I on social media, Holistic Mom D, and look out for Mom's Wickle. She has written a lot. Kids need to learn from other kids. Please download our podcast on iTunes and leave reviews so other kids and families can benefit. We need to work together to create a healthy future for all of us and the planet. Join us next week for another episode of the Holistic Kid Show, where kids are empowering kids. Thank you, everyone.
Actually, tomorrow we have another episode.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.